Hello. I want to take up where I left off before, talking about consciousness and using the metaphor of the radio and radio waves and microwaves and the cell phone and all kinds of wireless technology that operates day in and day out in our daily lives. Uh, I am convinced, and of course I could be wrong, but intuitively, I don't think I am. And this is what resonates deeply within me. A lot of people have trouble with the concept of spirituality, especially those who are deconstructing from religion and don't see any valuable thing that religion has ever done for humanity and are down on theology. And believe me, I'm sympathetic and I understand that. And it's certainly not my purpose to try to develop a religion of any sort. What I want to explore is something that has been an intuitive, ingrained uh, thing with me since I was young. And that is, why does anything exist? And how do we exist? And so on and so forth. And that is the question that I have. And it's interesting to me as I study more and more, and as I listen to philosophers and physicists and biologists and cognitive scientists, that there's really a lot of what you would call diverging beliefs about what consciousness is and where it exists. And what I'm talking about when I talk about consciousness is simply this: uh, why are we aware? How do we hear things? What causes us to see the color red as opposed to the color green? What is the taste of chocolate? What is the taste of vanilla? Where does all of this originate from? What about our feelings? What about love? What about hate? What about dislike? So, as a conscious agent, I'm sitting here in front of the computer and camera right now. And I am doing this video. And yet and still, as I look out through my eyes, I see the camera and I see the ring light around my camera on top of my computer, and I see a lamp over to my left, and I see another lamp to my right. And I can see when I look in the screen a lamp that is behind me. And all of these lamps are giving light to my reality right now. And so everything that I see in this room is illuminated by either the ring light on top of my computer or these lamps, or there are actually a couple of windows beyond my window that the blinds are still up on, which is one of the reasons why you see so much light in this video. I've got the blind down right next to me so that you could uh, see me. But aside from my experience of this room and this experience of conversing with potentially as many people as will ever watch the video, and the thoughts that come into my mind and the creativity that I have, all of those things are things that really cause me to ponder. And I know that there are individuals that don't give a flip about that. And I understand. And I'm not speaking for you. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. But what I am interested in doing is showing that of millennia, over the course of millennia, consciousness via speech or the word or expression has been credited as being the creative source of the cosmos. And so that is what interests me is what is the creative source of the cosmos? Why am I here? Why is anybody here? And I realize that that can be impractical. And I'm not suggesting that you push it to its impractical uh, position. I'm retired. And since I'm retired, I have time to study and time to do this stuff. And certainly when I was earning a living uh, and when I wasn't retired, I didn't have the same amount of time that I do now. But yet and still, through all of my journey, whether it was from being raised as a fundamentalist evangelical or leaving that completely and rejecting it just simply out of hand and rejecting Jesus and God and all of that stuff. And then embracing metaphysics and embracing the fact that, yeah, I don't agree that it's the way that religion explains it. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't square with science. But beyond all of that, I have always had this knowing within, this intuition within, that I am a part of something bigger and grander than the life that I'm living now. And I'm not throwing shade at that life. I've had a great life. I'm 76 years old. I've enjoyed myself. I love the line, and you've heard me say this before, but I want to repeat it. And Jimmy Buffett has a song called He Went to Paris that is all about a person who was seeking answers to questions that bothered him so. But the final line, I think, is one that I can really embrace right now. And Jimmy Buffett said that this person that he was talking about that went to Paris looking for answers eventually came to America. And the line says, now he lives in the islands and he fishes the pylons and he drinks his green label each day. He's writing his memoirs, losing his hearing, which unfortunately is apropos, but he don't care what most people say. Through 86 years of perpetual motion, if he likes you, he'll smile and he'll say, some of it's magic, some of it's tragic, but I had a good life all the way. And that sums up where I'm at. I am not fussing about my life. And if I die tonight or in the next 10 minutes, I've lived a full life. And I really have no regrets. I have tried to right a lot of my wrongs, and I accept me for who I am. I accept the ego. I'm not trying to move toward a oneness of light and love and all of that stuff, because I think that while that exists, that's not the purpose of our existence now. The purpose of my existence, the reason that I was born on this planet, was to be Joe Mashuda and live this life and learn whatever I learned from it and do whatever I've done in it. That is important to realize. But having said all of that, there still is within me, and I think within a lot of you, the quest for what is it all about? Why? How does it work? What happens after death? And again, I want to assure you that even though I'm 76, I don't fear death because one of two things is going to be the case. There is something or there is nothing. That's it. That is the only two choices. And I choose to believe that there is something. I choose to believe that this ego, this soul, this individual aspect of divinity that I am will transfer on, possibly to other dimensions, possibly to a new incarnation. That's not known. But the thing that I know in my knower is that somehow, some way, even though Christianity and the Bible really mess things up, the fact is that we were created. We were created in the image of our Creator, and that is consciousness. It is consciousness. It is my consciousness that makes me in the image of the Creator, because I will not believe for a minute that the Creator is a person. So my personhood isn't what makes me in the image of the Creator. What makes me in the image of the Creator is the Logos within, the divinity within, that I partake of the divine nature. That is the essence of me being created in the image of God. Now, it doesn't have to be religious. I choose to have certain spiritual practices that are mine. I'm not asking you to do what I do. What I am asking you to do is to think about what I think about and come to the conclusion and ask yourself, what do I really feel? What is it that makes me unique? And how does that fit into the rest of the world that I live in? And if you do that, then you have fulfilled, in my belief, your purpose in this life. And hopefully, it will be to do some good for other people. It will be to love. I know I have. It will be to help people out. I know I have. It will be to think of something just, of something other than just myself. I know that I have. Sure, I have shortcomings. Sure, I have done some probably even vile things in my life. But over the long haul, I rejoice and celebrate being a human being because I think that that is what this material dimension is about. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with us trying to assume and assimilate a greater awareness and call it spiritual, call it consciousness, call it God, call it whatever you want. That is one important aspect of being a human being, in my view. And it wasn't always that way. And it isn't that way for everyone. And that's unfortunate because I can't explain completely the existence of evil. And certainly I have my opinions about it. I do think that it evens out over eternity because I do believe that we are eternal beings. But that in no way helps anyone who is suffering trauma. So I'm not trying to trigger someone who is suffering trauma. I'm just saying that moving toward an understanding, since I was given the mind that I have and the heart that I have that can receive these waves that I believe of consciousness that are outside of me, that I know are outside of me. If I can receive those, then there is a purpose behind that. And I think it is actually the upward spiral development of humanity in this corporeal material world. But there may be other dimensions. There may be other materiality. Certainly, science, many of the materialist scientists have adopted a many worlds theory. And so they see that there are other dimensions, alternative universes, all of these. I think that the cosmos, I'm going to end right here. I think that the cosmos offers us a playground of consciousness, a playground here in corporal material reality that can't be achieved if I'm just simply consciousness. And so the two, I think, go hand in hand. But I love the axiom from the Kabbalion that's really older than that by far. The Kabbalion was written in 1908, and the Hermetica is at least 5,000 years old and probably 13 or 14, and God knows how old it is and how this conscious idea went to all of the various different civilizations that it's gone to. But the fact remains that it is as above, so below. And so we can take what we see in corporeal and material reality, and we can extrapolate what exists in consciousness or spirituality. And I think that it's easy to draw some interesting conclusions from that. So I'm going to leave this here right now. And I hope that these sessions are informative. And I would love to have you share them with anybody that you think is interested. And I'd love to have you subscribe because I'd like to see this channel build up. And that's selfish, but it's honest. And I'm telling you exactly what my purpose is here. My purpose is to help me grow, is to help anybody grow that wants to grow in the same direction that I'm growing in. And that's it. So until the next time, I want to say that I think that the underpinning of consciousness is the evolution to love. Let me repeat that. I think that the underpinning of consciousness, the foundation that is also the goal, that underpinning is the evolution toward love. Have a great one.